Good morning, students. This is the first lecture for the fall 2021 semester. I'm Keith Burgess-Jackson. I'll be your logic instructor this semester. First of all, welcome back for those of you who have been to UTA already. And if this is your first semester at UTA, welcome to the university. I can tell you that this is my 33rd year of teaching at UTA. I'm just starting today, my 33rd year. And this is the 31st time in my career that I've taught logic. So I've been teaching logic since well before you were born, unless you're an older student. Okay, so what I want to do today is mainly go over the syllabus with you and make sure you understand all of the requirements and the book requirement and so on. I'll also talk to you about Canvas, which will be the main source of information between us. So let's get started. First of all, Canvas. For those of you who have been at UTA before know all about Canvas. Those of you who are new will have to learn about it. When you go to Canvas, you will locate this course. This is Logic, and the prefix is Phil 2311-001. So the first thing you do when you go to the website called Canvas is find this logic course. And once you click and you're in this logic course, you'll notice a number of words on the left of the screen. The main one you need to remember, and the one you'll be using most often, is modules. And that's where I post items, including this video later today. So anything that I've posted, such as the syllabus, the reading list for the course, the lecture list, anything that I post for you, including the videos, will be in the modules tab of the logic course. So you need to check that modules tab at least once every day, even on the days when we're not meeting or not doing anything formally, because I'm routinely posting handouts and other materials for you to make use of. So you're responsible for everything that I post on Canvas, including these lectures. Now the lecture that I'm currently doing, I just got started. When it's done, it'll probably take only 45 minutes or so, but we'll see how it goes. When I get it finished, I'll obviously end the video, and then I have to start the process of uploading it to YouTube. And yes, I do use YouTube for my videos. And when I'm done with that, in a couple of hours, because it does take some time to upload it, when I'm done and it's been uploaded, I will copy and paste the link to Canvas. And it'll say something like, maybe I'll put the date. It'll say, since technically today's lecture is for tomorrow's class, I'll put something like 26 August 2021, course introduction. And then when you click that link, it will bring up the video on YouTube and you can then watch it. And one of the nice things about videos is that you can watch them as many times as you want. I assume that you'll want to watch them, or at least parts of them, more than once. Maybe just before the exam, you'll go through and refresh your memory on some of the videos. There'll be a lot of them by the time the first exam comes along, so you may not have time to watch all of the videos all the way through, but maybe you feel weak in a certain area. Maybe a particular section of the book that we covered wasn't all that clear, so you may want to go back and watch that video in its entirety to get up to speed, so to speak. So Canvas will be our main source of connection. Now, I sent an email to all of you, a mass email, 3 days ago, and I hope you've read it and read it carefully. In that email, I explained how we will be doing things this semester. As you know, the provost of the university has decided that everyone on campus, everyone who comes to campus this semester must be tested for COVID-19. I've already been tested. I hope you have as well. Now, the provost has not yet decided what will happen on the 8th of September. So think of the semester as being divided up into two parts. There's the part up until 8 September, and I've already decided what we will be doing in that period, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And then there's the period after the 8th of September, and nobody knows, at least I don't know, and you probably don't know, what will happen after that. Now, there are three things that can happen, logically. First, the provost may decide that we're going to go entirely online this semester in all courses. That's the way we did it for the past year. Okay? Everything was online. I didn't go to campus even one time for a whole year. And I'm sure you didn't as well. Some of you didn't. Most of you probably didn't. The second thing that the provost might decide after going online, that was the first one, is continuing what we're now doing. And again, I'll talk about that in a moment. The third thing that the provost may decide to do is go back completely into the classroom. In other words, it'll be the same campus that we've had for all these years, up until recently, up until the pandemic, which means you will go to the university, you will go to the classroom, and you will listen to me lecture in the classroom. So that's a possibility. I don't know what the probabilities are that that will happen, but it is one of the three possibilities. If you ask me what my sense is, I'm thinking that the provost will not put us completely back in the classroom, which means there realistically are only two choices: go completely online or continue doing what we're now doing, which is 50-50, which is part classroom, part online. It could be that we do the whole semester like that. But anyway, we'll wait and see what the provost decides on the 8th of September, okay? Now, what are we doing until the 8th of September? I described all of it in my letter to you of 3 days ago. So it should be in your email box. It went to your UTA email address. And I also posted it on Canvas. So if you go to Canvas right now and look under Logic, you should find a number of items already there. The syllabus for the course, what I call the lecture schedule. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Third, the letter that I'm now talking about that was sent to you by email 3 days ago, that will be posted on Canvas. It will stay there. It is there and it will stay there all semester. So you can go back and look at it as often as you want. And I've also posted some solutions to exercises, and I'll talk more about those shortly. The book contains a number of exercise sections. Almost every section of the book that we will be covering has exercises at the end of that section. And the book itself contains solutions to some of those exercises. I will be posting on Canvas all of the solutions for all of the exercises so that you can work as many as you can. And I do highly recommend that you work the exercises. That's something you can do on your own. And now that I've posted the solutions, you can check your work. Of course, if at any time you work one of the exercises and you check the solutions and you got it wrong and you cannot figure out why you got it wrong, then you should send me an email and I'll try to explain it to you. So it's a self-paced, self-learning exercise. And so only if you get stumped, and only if you've gone back and reread the text of the book, and maybe gone back and listened to my lecture on that topic, only if you cannot figure it out on your own should you write to me, for obvious reasons. Right? This is supposed to be your work. Think of it as homework. It's for you to do to help you learn the material. But of course, I will be there if all else fails and you still, having looked at the book and listened to my lecture again, if you still can't figure it out, send me an email and I'll reply to you. Okay, so there are a few items already posted on Canvas. And again, keep checking it on a regular basis. Now, let me do something that I enjoy doing. I like to touch base with you about the students in my class. I can tell you that the course is capped at 30, and that's because the room that we're given, the room that we'll probably begin using on the 9th of September, depending on what the provost decides to do. But I suspect that at some point we're going to be back in the classroom, maybe with only half of the students there each day, but we'll be back in the classroom. The classroom is 207 Preston Hall, and that's listed on the first page of the syllabus that we'll be going over in a minute. 207 Preston Hall. Now, when we get in there, you'll see that the room holds about 30 students. There are only 30 or 32 chairs. And the course is currently full. So if you're one of those 30 students, you're safe. And usually there are a couple of students who drop a course, and people who want to take it are kind of waiting in line, and they can then fill up that empty space. So 30 students are currently enrolled in the course. It's interesting that the grade level breakdown shows that there are students from each of the 4 grade levels. In fact, I did a quick calculation this morning. There are 7 students who are listed on my class roll as seniors. 7 out of 30, roughly 1 in every 4 of you is a senior, which means you've been around. You've taken lots of courses. I don't know why you waited this long to take logic. Maybe logic should be taken in your first or second year, but that's okay. There are no limitations on who can take the course, and I like to say better late than never. Right? Better that you took logic in your senior year than not at all. So welcome to you, those of you who are seniors. 9 students are listed as juniors, again, about a quarter of the course, or almost a third actually. 10 of you are listed as sophomores, and 4 as freshmen. So I assume if you're one of those listed as a freshman, you've had no previous courses of any kind anywhere, including UTA. Maybe you've had 1 or 2 courses and you're still listed as a freshman. If you're a freshman, you're going to have a learning curve. You're going to have to learn how to stay on top of things and how to study. You've got to learn management skills. You've got to learn how to be disciplined and efficient. And mainly, I would say, is keeping things in order, right? Don't let things get out of control. Keep tabs on Canvas. Make sure you've printed everything you find there. Put it in a notebook. Let me show you my notebook. I have a 3-ring notebook. You see that? This notebook contains materials for both of the courses that I'm teaching this semester, and I'll be bringing it into the classroom when I come. It helps me stay organized. You can see that I have tabs on the sides here. I have a tab that says syllabus, one that says reading list, one that says lecture notes, and so forth. So stay organized. Whatever career you end up with, organization will be important, I assure you. Whether you're an engineer, an accountant, a professor, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever your career ends up being, organizational skills are important. So start now. Start learning how to be organized. You may want to get a 3-ring notebook and a paper hole puncher. Whenever you print something from Canvas, put it in the paper hole puncher, punch holes in it, and put it in the appropriate part of your notebook. Okay? That's how I stay organized, and I've been doing that my whole career. Not only when I was a student like you, but for all of these years that I've been a professor. Organization will, in the long run, save you time and energy. Right? How many times have you misplaced something and spent an hour or more looking for it? If you had been more organized, you wouldn't have had to spend an hour looking for it because you would know where it is. It would be in its proper place. Okay, there are 7 seniors, 9 juniors, 10 sophomores, and 4 freshmen. That adds up to 30. So we have students from every grade level. Now, the course is a 2,000 level course. We in our department philosophy and humanities. We have courses, and I assume this is true for other departments on campus. We have 1,000 level courses, 2,000 level, 3,000, and 4,000 level courses. So I think of 2,000 level courses like this one as being sophomore level courses. But that doesn't mean you can't take it if you're a junior or a senior, or even a freshman. You may have to work a little bit harder if you're a freshman. To come back to the point I was just making, you need to learn how to be organized, stay on top of things. And once you get the hang of it, I assume in your sophomore year, things will go a little bit easier for you because you'll have been around the block. You'll know how things are done. Now, every professor is different, of course. Other professors may do things in a different way than I do. The point is, we all do things generally in the same way. And organization is important in every course you take, I assure you. Another thing I did when I got the class roll, I printed it today, so it should be up to date, is I like to see how many philosophy majors we have, and I thought you may be interested. It is a philosophy course, but it's of course not limited to philosophy majors or minors. In fact, only 4 students out of 30 have listed philosophy major or minor. So don't think that if you're not majoring or minoring in philosophy, you're at some kind of disadvantage. You're not. It's meant to be open to every student from all over campus. In fact, here are just a few of the majors that I underlined, just to show you how diverse a group you are. There's at least 1 student in each of the following categories: history, political science, music, university studies, English, communication studies, art, biochemistry, critical languages, philosophy, which I mentioned, construction management, and Spanish. Now, there are a few others, but those are the ones that jumped out at me. So we've got people from what they call the hard sciences, like biochemistry. We've got people from social science. We've got people from the humanities. We've got people from the professions, like engineering. Usually I have 1 or more nursing students. I'm not sure there are any in this particular class, but usually I have nursing students in my classes. So it's a diverse group in 2 ways, not only in terms of your major and your career path, but also in your grade level. So when I teach, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to make sure that I explain everything clearly so that none of you is at a disadvantage. I won't take for granted that any of you have had any philosophy courses, so I'll explain every philosophical term that I use in the course, and so does the author of our book. While I'm mentioning the book, let me hold up my copy of the book. This book is the only book in this course, and it's required, as opposed to recommended. So you need to get a copy of this book as soon as possible. Now, your copy may look a little bit different. Mine says Instructor's Edition at the very top. And I'm guessing that your book won't have the blue edge here, or some kind of blue. Your book may just have this white cover. But it'll be the same book, right? This one has some special materials for the instructor, me, and yours won't have those. Now, this book, I checked, is available in different formats. So while I'm talking about the book, let me tell you what I have learned. This book that I held up, which is paperback only, I'm pretty sure they never made a hardcover book. So if you happen to like hardcover books, I don't think you're going to be able to get one. All right? So this book can be purchased, and all I did was check at Amazon.com. I don't own stock in Amazon.com, so I'm not shilling for them or anything like that. But it's a website that has a good selection of books, including textbooks. So I thought that what I found there would probably be fairly typical. And here's what I found. I think it was yesterday when I went there. This book that I just showed you by Patrick J. Hurley, and again, the title is Logic, The Essentials This book can be acquired by you uh, as a rental, and it has listed as the price for that $19.53. Now, I don't know how rentals work. I've never done it. There was no such thing when I was a student. I know you'll find it hard to believe, but I'm old enough to remember the days before the internet. There was no internet when I was a student. There were no personal computers. If there were computers at all, they would have been huge computers in places like IBM or the Pentagon or something like that. But there were no personal computers that people used. I didn't get my first computer until 1983, when I was already done with law school and was in graduate school. And what a wonderful little device that was. By today's standards, it was a dinosaur. But to me, it was wonderful. It was a K-Pro 2. You can look it up and see an image of it on Google image search. K-Pro 2, Roman numeral 2. And what I loved about it was that I could write my term papers and handouts and things like that on it and then print them. And it made revising so easy. Back in the old days, before computers, I would have to type up my term papers or handouts. And once you've typed it up, if you want to make changes, you've got to retype the whole document. So what I loved about the computer was that if you type something up and save it to the disk, you can go in at any later point and make changes to it. You can insert a word in a particular spot, or take a word out, or add new text, whatever you want to do, without having to retype everything. So, how did I get going on computers? There was no such thing as Amazon.com when I was a student, and there was certainly no such thing as a book rental. So if you decide to rent this book, you're on your own. I don't know what to say to you. I don't know how it works. You'll have to look into that on your own. But it did say, when I visited the site on Amazon.com, it said that this particular book can be rented for $19.53. I don't even know whether you're going to get a physical book like this, or maybe just the ability to go onto the computer and read the pages. I don't know how it works. The second thing you can do, if you so choose, is to buy a used copy of this physical paper book. And that is listed as $32.92. So you will own the book. The book may have marks in it. You can see, well, my book is all marked up. You can see just a random page here. I've used highlighters with different colors. I sometimes write in the margin. I underline certain words or phrases or entire sentences. The book that you buy, if it's used, will probably have all kinds of markings on it. But it still should be readable, even if it's all marked up. Right? Very rarely does someone obscure or blot out or rip pages out of a book. So everything you need should still be there, even if it's marked up. And finally, you may want to buy a new book. And if you do, the price listed was $75.38. So it would be the same book I showed you, but brand new, nothing marked in it, and so forth. Probably would come in a nice cellophane wrapper, so showing you that no one has touched it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it up to you how to acquire this book. I did place an order. Yes, I did place an order at the UTA bookstore a couple of months ago. So UTA, the bookstore, should have copies of this. But I don't run the bookstore, and I have no control over the bookstore. I have no idea, because I haven't been there recently, I have no idea whether they followed through and ordered copies of this book. I hope they did. I hope they have both new and used copies sitting on the shelf. The only way for you to find out is either call them or stop by and see. If one of you goes there, I would appreciate getting an email from you just telling me what you found. It could be a simple email. Dear Professor or Dear Keith, I was at the bookstore this morning and I noticed that there were quite a few copies of the book, some used and some new. If you wanted to count them up and tell me, that would be great. So since I don't plan to go to the bookstore in person, I'd appreciate hearing from you so that I know and then can tell other students what you found. Okay, so we've been over the class roster. I'm about to start going over the syllabus with you, but before I do, let me go to the lecture schedule. That is one of the items currently posted on Canvas, and it is 2 pages long. And if you take a look at it, you'll see that I broke things down day by day. Here's what it has listed for today. At the very top, it says Thursday, 26 August 2021, course introduction, period. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. In this video, not in the classroom because I'm doing videos until the 8th of September, this is my lecture for tomorrow, for the 26th of August. In case you're wondering, why am I lecturing on Wednesday when the course doesn't start until tomorrow? Well, I'm teaching 2 courses. So I wanted to get one of them up early, a day early, and the other one I will do tomorrow, and it will be posted on time. So by tomorrow, both of my lectures will be posted on what is, strictly speaking, the first day of class. Now, that doesn't mean I'm always going to get my lectures posted by the day they're scheduled. There may come a time when I post your lectures on Wednesday and Friday instead of on Tuesday and Thursday. Although once we go back into the classroom, I will need to make sure that my videos are posted the day before we meet in the classroom so that you have time to watch the videos and then discuss them in the classroom. Because when I go back into the classroom, when we go back into the classroom, I will not be doing my lecture all over again. It will already be done in video form, and you will have watched it by then. So all of my lectures this semester will be done on video, just like the one I'm now doing. When we go into the classroom, we will be doing other things besides me lecturing to you. We can do, one day we can work exercises. I may simply give you an hour in the classroom to work exercises. Now, you may say, why do I need to go into the classroom to work exercises? I can do that on my own at home. Well, you're welcome to do it on your own at home. You can do it anywhere you want. But I assume that you may want some quiet time in a classroom setting. And maybe you will even want to work with one or more other students in the classroom. You can work together. Now keep in mind that we're supposed to do what they call social distancing when we're in the classroom. So if you work together with another student, you will still have to be 6 feet apart, I think is the rule. So you can go off into the corner, you and another student, and work exercises together and have a quiet conversation. Maybe the entire class will want to work exercises together. So we'll find different things to do when we're in the classroom. You may want to ask questions of me about something I said in my video that you have watched. So all I'm saying is, when we're in the classroom, we'll find something to do for an hour. But one thing I will not be doing is repeating my lecture. That will have been done already on video. And I think you're going to like that because there's no difference between me lecturing on video and me lecturing to you in the classroom. In fact, the video format has advantages because if you come to class and listen to me lecture, you'll be making notes as I speak, and you may miss something. You may also have to miss a day of class. Usually, when you miss a day of class, you get notes from another student who was there. But if I'm lecturing on video, you can go back and watch it anytime you want and as many times as you want. So video lectures have actually an advantage over classroom lectures. Okay, so the whole semester, no matter what UTA decides, I'm going to be lecturing on video. Now, there's one exception. If the university says we can go back to the classroom, completely back into the classroom with full classes, and there's no need to make recordings of those lectures, I will go back and do it the old-fashioned way. And I will not be doing video lectures. Okay, so what I'm saying is if we go back to the old-fashioned way of doing things, I will stop doing video lectures and all of my lectures will be done in the classroom. But I don't expect that to happen. I think the very most we can hope for is to continue with this 50-50 plan of lectures where you spend some time in the classroom with your students and then make a recording of it for those students who aren't there that day. All right, the lecture schedule has things broken down. I'm going to cover one section of the book each time we meet or each time I lecture. So you can see that Tuesday, the next day we meet, by meet I mean the next lecture, Tuesday, 31 August 2021, it says section 1.1, arguments, premises, and conclusions. That's the title of section 1.1. So that means I'm going to be lecturing on that topic that day. Now I'll probably get your lecture up, Tuesday's lecture on Monday. That's my plan. And I'll probably get Thursday's lecture up on Wednesday. So I'm looking to get your lectures up a day early. My other class will probably get its lectures the day of what would ordinarily be our classroom lecture. I'm sorry if this is confusing to you, but you'll get the hang of it. I'm going to keep tabs with you with email. In fact, each time I post a lecture, as soon as it's posted on Canvas, meaning it's now available to my students, I will send you an email collectively. I'll send it to all 30 of you, and it'll say something like this. Dear students, my lecture, my videotaped lecture for such and such, for Tuesday, 31 August 2021, is now posted on Canvas. Keith. Okay, it'll just be a little notice to you. So you don't have to go to Canvas several times to see whether the lecture is available. Just wait patiently. Check your email every now and then, your UTA email. And when you see my email to you, you'll say, oh, good. Keith has posted his lecture. Now I can go there and watch it whenever I'm ready. So I'll keep tabs with you. I'll keep in communication with you about what's posted and so forth. All right, so that's the lecture schedule. The lecture schedule has the exam dates on it, which I'll talk more about in a moment. So let's get to the main thing I want to talk with you about today, which is the syllabus. The syllabus is the source of basic information about the course. It tells you what the course materials are, what the requirements are in terms of examinations. It tells you things about attendance policy. It tells you how I'm going to be calculating the grades for the course, and it gives you a course description. So let's get to it. I have my copy of the syllabus in my notebook, and I'll be referring to that. In fact, I'll put it up here so I don't have to keep glancing down. It'll be a more continuous thing with my eyes. At the very top of the syllabus, you see basic information about the course. The course is entitled Logic. It's not called Introduction to Logic or anything like that, or Formal Logic or Symbolic Logic. We call it here at UTA simply Logic. And the course number is Phil 2311-001. Now the 001 means it's a particular section of logic being taught. I don't know offhand whether any other section of logic is being taught this semester. This may be the only one. At the top of the syllabus, you'll see some information that's useful. First of all, my name and my credentials. You may have heard me a moment ago when I mentioned law school. I have a law degree. I did practice law for a while I was in graduate school. My plan was never to practice law. While I was in law school, I had already decided that I wanted to be a professor of philosophy. So I finished law school and I went off to graduate school to study philosophy. While I was in graduate school studying philosophy, I took the Arizona bar exam, passed it, and got a job as a practicing attorney. And I did that for a little over a year. I'm glad I did. I would not have been happy practicing law. Some people are, and that's great. But I wouldn't have been. I wasn't, and I wouldn't have been. I think I was cut out to be a teacher, a professor. And when I look back in my career, I can truly say I've had a wonderful, happy career as a professor of philosophy. And when I try to imagine having practiced law for 3 decades, I shudder. I don't think I would have enjoyed it. And maybe I wouldn't have been good at it. I don't know. But I'm glad I did it. I have legal training. I teach courses in philosophy of law and have been for my whole career. My wife is an attorney, so we have interesting conversations about the law. And I every year look forward excitedly to the Supreme Court rulings that are handed down in May and June. Anyway, it has my credentials, a law degree and a PhD degree in philosophy. My office on campus is 303 Carlisle Hall. Now, I'm not going to be there until at least the 9th of September, and it all depends on what the provost decides we're going to be doing. We may end up back on campus, and if so, then that will be my office. You may come to see me at some point this semester in that office. The telephone number listed rings into the Philosophy and Humanities department. It's not my personal phone, it's the departmental phone. So if you ever call for some reason, you can leave a message with whoever happens to be working the desk at that time. That message will then be put on into my mailbox, and whenever I go to campus, I will check it. Telephone seems to me to be dreadfully old-fashioned. I frankly hate the telephone. And we have this thing now called email. It's as fast as a telephone call, and it has the advantage that it's a written medium. It's not oral. It's not speech. It's written, and people typically put more thought into things they write than in things they say. So email is, to my mind, a perfect medium. It's as quick as a phone call, but it's also in writing, meaning it's typically more thoughtful. So anyway, I'm required to put a phone number in there, and I simply put the departmental number. I also listed my email. You can see that on the syllabus. It's kbj@uta.edu. It's easy to remember because KBJ are my 3 initials, Keith Burgess-Jackson. The faculty profile, notice that if you're looking at a paper printout of the syllabus, you'll see it's underlined. It won't do you much good, but if you're looking at the online version that's posted on Canvas, you can click that link and it will take you to my faculty profile. I'm not sure what's there. Maybe you can see what courses I'm teaching. You can maybe look at a list of my publications, things like that. Okay? The office hours this semester will be 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, in other words, 12 o'clock noon, on the 2 days that we ordinarily would be meeting, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But the university has said that office hours this semester can be conducted online or by email. So I'm going to be doing office hours by email. If you have a question where you would ordinarily come to see me for my office hours, simply write it up and send it as an email. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can and try to answer your questions. Okay? As I like to put it, and as I do put it in the footnote, anything that can be said between us sitting in my office face to face can be said by email. All right? So that takes care of office hours. The meeting time if we were to be meeting in the classroom, which we may end up doing, the meetings this semester will be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 o'clock until 9:20, 8 to 9:20. And I usually let my students go at 9:15 and maybe even earlier. If we end up doing online lectures this semester and meeting in the classroom for working exercises or having discussions, the period may last only 1 hour instead of an hour and 20 minutes. So we'll decide that as we go. And it may vary. On a particular day, we may be in the classroom for an hour and 20 minutes, and we may be in there for only 45 or 50 minutes. We'll just decide on a daily basis. And again, the classroom this semester, should we go back, is 207 Preston Hall. Now, Preston Hall is actually connected to Carlisle Hall by a walkway on the second floor. So it's very near. It's nice to be able to teach in that building because when I'm ready, if I'm in my office, I just walk across the walkway, go into Preston Hall. Sometimes I have to go up to the third floor or down to the first floor, but it's quite convenient. I don't have to go outside and walk a long distance. All right. Now, the first thing I've done on this syllabus is I have a course description. It's a little bit long because I want to make sure I give you an idea of what the course will involve. And no, I'm not going to sit here and read it with you. You can read it on your own once you print a copy of the syllabus, or you can go to Canvas and read it on your computer screen. And the purpose of the course description that I wrote for you is to give you an idea of what kinds of things we'll be doing in this course. You may read it and say, oh my goodness, I don't like this at all. I don't want to learn this kind of material. I'm going to drop the course and take some other course. I hope you don't do that. I think that everyone can benefit from logic, but that's a decision you must make. Others of you, when you read this, may decide, I like this. This is exactly the kind of thing that interests me and will be of use to me in my career. And I do, my personal judgment, my personal opinion is that everyone benefits from studying logic. Some people find it easier than others. Some people find it as difficult as a math course. Other people find it very intuitive and easy to understand. So I suspect you'll have different reactions when you read the course description. Some of you will be excited and say, I can't wait to get started. Others of you may have a sense of dread. Maybe you'll wait a while and see what it's like for a few lectures and then decide whether to stay in the course. Again, I'm not trying to get anybody to drop the course. For obvious reasons. If you drop, someone will probably step into your slot. So we'll probably have 30 people, no matter how they're composed or which students fill the 30 spots. Okay, moving right along. I don't want to belabor this. I said 45 minutes. I can see we're only a couple of minutes from that, but just a few more comments and I'll close the video for the day. As regards course materials, let's read this paragraph together because it's not very long. I say there that there's one book, and it is required, and it's this very book that I talked about earlier. And on the syllabus, I give you what's called the ISBN for this book. It's called International Standard Book Number. And there happen to be 2 of them for this book. In fact, you can see that at the very bottom of the back cover, those ISBNs are listed. So I simply copied them from here to my syllabus. So if you were to order this book, you could give that ISBN instead of the author and title. Okay, so I'm trying to give you as much information about the book as I can on the syllabus. So let's continue reading this paragraph. This book is, or rather should be, available at the UTA bookstore. Should be because I ordered it. It is also available online at places such as Amazon.com, and I talked about that earlier. All other course materials will be available free of charge, except for the paper on which to print them from Canvas, which is accessible from any internet-connected computer. So no matter where you are in the world, you have access to Canvas. You've got to log in, of course, using your UTA credentials, but you could be in some other state or country. It could be 2 in the morning, but as long as you have an internet-connected computer and your UTA credentials, you can go into Canvas and read what is there. You can print out what's there. If you do print anything, and I do, by the way, recommend that you print things because then everything will be in your notebook so that when you go to study for the exam, it'll all be there. You won't have to go back and forth to Canvas. Okay? So I recommend printing it. If you do print it, you'll have to pay for the paper and the toner for the printer and so on. That's an expense you will bear if you print. Each student, each one of you, is responsible for locating and printing these materials. That goes back to what I said earlier about being organized and staying on top of things. Okay? Let's turn now to the course requirements. I don't think I've said anything yet about that. There are 3 examinations, each of which constitutes 1/3 of your grade for the course. So that's it, 3 exams. The first exam will cover about the first third of the course. The second exam will cover the middle third. And the third exam will cover the third third. None of the 3 exams will be comprehensive. Each exam covers its own body of material. So a third of the course, exam. Another third of the course, another exam. The final third of the course, the final exam. And these 3 exams will be equally long, equally difficult, and they will count the same, therefore. Okay? So at the end of the semester, I will add up your 3 scores. The maximum for each exam will be 100 points. I will simply add up your 3 exams and divide by 3. That will give me a final score. And I will assign grades, letter grades, on the basis of a 10% scale. So if you end up with 90% of the 300 points or more, which means 270 or more, you will get an A in the course. If you get anywhere between 240 points and 269 points, you will get a B, and so forth. So you should be familiar with the 10% grading scale. That's what I'll be using. Now the 3 exams are going to be on particular days, and I've chosen the days. I will stick with them. The exams will be administered on Canvas. I'll explain how that works later. The exams will be a series of questions, 10 true-false and 30 multiple choice. My goal in making these exams is to test the breadth and depth of your knowledge and skill. So I will find different ways to test what we have covered. And again, the exam will be worth up to 100 points. The exams will be given on the 28th of September, the 2nd of November, and the 9th of December. So the dates are already chosen. On those days, I will open up the exam for you. You will go into Canvas, take the exam. The exam will take 75 minutes. You will have 75 minutes once you start to finish it. All right? Now, I'll probably give you the whole day. I'll say the exam is available from 8 in the morning until 8 in the evening. And because some of you may be working from 9 to 5. So I need to leave a little bit of room in the afternoon. So everyone must take the exam during that 12-hour window. And once you go in and start the exam, you have 75 minutes. And you got to get it done in that time frame because it will close on you and that will be it. If there are questions you don't answer, then you missed out. Which is why I say, if time is running out and you still have questions unanswered, at least guess. Right? You may luckily get some points that way. But you don't want it to come down to luck. So make sure you pace yourself during the exam. You should have no problem finishing the exam in 75 minutes. Okay? I rarely have any problem with that. Okay, so one other thing. Every semester I say in my syllabus and on the first day of class, there will be no extra credit offered or available. And yet, near the end of the semester, I get panicky emails from students saying, oh my goodness, I'm not doing as well in here as I had hoped or expected. Is there something I can do to improve my grade? And my answer is always no. Go back and reread the syllabus. Go back and watch the video. I'm telling you right now that your grade will be based on those 3 exams and those 3 exams only. So please, don't even ask for extra credit. I frankly don't even understand the concept of extra credit. I really don't. I'm telling you what the rules are in advance. Everyone is equal. Everyone is in the same situation. You're not special. Just because you're not doing as well as you hoped or expected doesn't mean you get to try again or you get to do something extra outside of the rules. So everyone is going to be taking 3 exams, and your grade will be based on how you do on those 3 exams. So notice I put in boldface type. In effect, I'm screaming this in my syllabus. Please do not request an extra credit assignment. If you do, I will direct your attention to this portion of the syllabus and remind you that we went over it on the first day of class. So that's all I'm going to say about it. If you ask me to predict, will anyone in either of my 2 classes ask for extra credit? Based on past experience, I would say yes. And I'm going to say to that person or persons, I don't give extra credit. I never have. I never will. I don't understand it. And we talked about it already. You knew when you took the course that there wouldn't be any such thing. So please don't even ask about it. Now, I do not take attendance. There have been times in the past when I did, and in the classroom, it was designed to motivate students to come to class. Usually it counted for up to 10% of a student's grade. But this semester, partly because we're doing things partly online, I'm not going to take attendance. Even if and when we go back into the classroom with small classes, what they call half density, I still will not be taking attendance. So listen carefully to what I'm about to say. I explained this in my letter that's posted on Canvas and that I sent to you as an email 3 days ago. If we go back to campus on the 9th of September and only half of the students are present in the classroom each time we meet, you are not required to go to those classroom sessions. You may. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there even if nobody's there. Okay? I'll bring some reading material. If nobody shows up, that's fine. I'll read. I'll make productive use of my time. But you don't have to come. We're going to be doing things on those days like working exercises. You will be working exercises at your desk quietly, or asking me questions. You may raise your hand and say, could you explain this concept? I read the book, I listened to your lecture, I still don't get it. Could you explain it to me? And I'll try to answer it and explain it to you. So we'll be doing things like that in the classroom. Again, I'm not going to re-lecture. The lecture's already posted. What would be the point of me doing it again in the classroom? So if you choose not to go to class, that's up to you, and it won't hurt you in any way, at least formally. Because there's no attendance requirement. It's not part of your grade. It'll probably help you because you'll have an opportunity to work exercises and to ask me questions. Also, some of you may be fearful of contracting COVID-19, and you may be fearful enough not even to risk a classroom where only half the students are present and everyone is engaged in social distancing. Now, keep in mind that there is no mask requirement. The governor has decreed that no public university or governmental body may mandate masks, the wearing of masks. So there may well be students in the classroom who are not wearing masks. I may be one of them. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. If you're uncomfortable with that, if you don't want to be in a classroom with people who are not wearing a mask, then you have a reason not to come to class. That's up to you. I'm giving you lectures on video, which you can watch over and over again. They will be thorough. I will explain everything you need for the exams. And there will be handouts posted on Canvas to also help you understand the material. So if you decide you don't want to come to class, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. I don't take attendance. It's not a requirement. It won't affect your grade directly. It could affect your grade indirectly if by not coming to class you work fewer exercises or have a question that remains unanswered. All right? So there could be an indirect negative consequence of you not coming to class, but nothing direct. It won't cost you directly. Okay, now I'm assuming that we don't go back to the classroom full time. If the provost decides we're going back full time to the classroom with all the students there each day, then we'll rethink things. But I'm assuming that we're going to continue doing 50-50. Half the students are present each time we physically meet in the classroom. Okay, the grading scheme I've already explained to you. I'll add up your 3 exams, the scores on your 3 exams, divide by 3, and use a 10% scale. The final item on the syllabus, at least the final item that I wrote or provided, is a short section entitled, Why Study Logic? I finished reading a book on logic the other day. I do that for fun, not just because it's part of my job, but I enjoy reading and thinking about logic, as well as teaching it. And I finished a book by a Princeton philosopher who's been teaching logic for a couple of decades. His book is entitled How Logic Works, a User's Guide. And he explains, and I quote 2 of his paragraphs, he explains the gist of logic and what logic is. So I recommend that you read what this author, Hans Halvorson, wrote and take it to heart. Think of it as something I wrote, although I didn't write it. Right? I agree with it. I could have written it. I agree with it. Okay, the rest of the syllabus is what I call boilerplate. That's a legal term. If you're a lawyer who handles contracts, there will almost certainly be language that you put in every contract that you draft. It's language that you want in the contract, no matter who the parties to the contract are, no matter what the content of the contract is, no matter what it's about, or anything else. It's kind of standard language. This is language that the university provided to me and asked me to put in my syllabus. And you should see it in every syllabus in every one of your courses. So I simply put it at the back of my syllabus and I put it under the heading of boilerplate, which is a legal term. Okay, that's enough for today. I took almost an hour. I thought it might go a little less, maybe 45 minutes. Here's what I'm going to do now. Not that you need to know this, but to remind myself, first of all, I'm going to stop this video in a moment. It will then be put on the desktop of my notebook computer on which I'm recording it. I will then go into YouTube and upload the video. And that takes a while. In fact, lately, it takes so long that I do my bike ride. I ride at least 22 miles every day. And I'm all ready to ride. As soon as I get this video uploaded or started uploading, I'm going to go ride my bike. And in about an hour and a half, when I get back to my house, I will go into YouTube. It should be uploaded by then. And I will copy and paste the link to that newly created YouTube video. I will go into Canvas and I will copy and paste the link. And I'll put a nice little heading. It'll say something like lecture for 26 August 2021, course introduction. Right? So it'll have a title, so you'll know what video it is. And then finally, once that's posted, I will get out of Canvas. I will send you, all of you, an email. And all I will say in that email is, dear students, my videotaped lecture for 26 August 2021 is now posted on Canvas. Keith. And that will be your cue. When you go to Canvas and see that, you will know that when you go to Canvas, you will be able to watch the video. I'm sorry, when you receive your email, you will know that you can then go to Canvas and watch the video. Okay, I enjoyed introducing the course. I hope you're excited about it as I am. I think you'll learn a lot. And one final thought, there will, I'm sure, during the semester, there will be many occasions in which you say to yourself, what use is this to me? I don't understand how this could possibly be of any use to me given my career plans or my life plans. But I assure you, and I base this on past experience, at some point in the future, 5 or 10 years from now, when you look back on the courses you took at UTA, this logic course will stand out. And I know that because I've had many students over the years write me years later and say, Keith, I hope you're well. I just wanted to tell you that I'm now a software engineer. I'm now a CEO of a corporation, or I'm doing this or that. And I just want you to know that the logic course that I took with you was of more use to me than any other course I took at UTA. Seriously, I get emails like that. At the time you're taking the course, it may not seem like it will be of use to you. But later on down the road, when you look back, I think you'll agree that it was very useful. Maybe not the most useful course, but right up there near the top. And you'll see why as we go along. All right? I hope. As we go along, I'll try to explain to you why what we're now learning will be of use to you later in your life or in your career. Okay, I better stop. I have a tendency to be long-winded. I'll try to be crisp and to the point from now on. As for how long each lecture will go, that will partly depend on the amount of material that we have. Some of the sections of the book are shorter than others, so it won't take as long to get through them. But I would think that the shortest lecture this semester will probably be about 45 minutes. The longest, of course, will not be more than 1 hour and 15 minutes, because that's how much time we would have in the classroom. But maybe 1 hour would be an average length. I know that in the classroom we have 1 hour and 15 minutes, but I'm not lecturing for all of that. Usually the students have questions, they raise their hand, I call on them, we have a little bit of a discussion, and then I go back to lecturing. So I hope you don't feel shorted. If a given lecture goes on for 1 hour, I hope you don't say, wait a minute, I paid for 1 hour and 15 minutes, because if we were in the classroom, you'd be getting the same 1 hour lecture plus a few minutes of student discussion. So that's what's being skipped, not the lecture. Okay, that's enough. It's been 1 hour and 3 minutes for this video, and I'll see you on the next video in a few days.